Welcome to Wrestling with Fitness, a monthly accountability podcast hosted by Shotgun Wrestling Radio's Zach Hakis and the Wizard CZ of Card Subject to Change. Fitness-minded guests from the world of indie wrestling. Now let's head into the studio with Zach and CZ.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Wrestling with Fitness. It is the end of the month, so of course that means we are back live with our monthly accountability podcast, and we are bringing in the man who's been with us from the very beginning on our fitness journey here, the one, the only, from the great state of Florida. Sure, I wish we kind of had his weather right now, but hey, that's okay. The one and only Mr. Storm Thomas. Storm, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys so much for having me on. And yeah, man, it's crazy. I've been a repeat guest, and I feel like it's just one of those things where I get to come in and check on you guys' progress mentally, physically, emotionally, and it's a really great opportunity for me to continuously check in with you guys.
And we very much appreciate it. I do particularly. I'm just going to jump in. You talked the last time you were on about falling off. You get to that 7 month mark. Took me a little longer to get there, but I've kind of fallen off the last month and a half or so. I was consistent on doing the DDPY. I got about a month and a half straight. Every day I was doing something, and then that one day just dominoed me into complacency, I guess is the best word for it.
Well, number one, I'm sorry to hear that, but also remember, like we did talk about, a little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing. So always keep that in the back of your mind. But one of the things that I've been working on, myself, I don't know if you guys saw, I know Zach, you did. We've talked a little bit separately. The thing that I'm learning is you got to find a way to challenge yourself to make it exciting. So I don't know if anybody else has seen, but from December 1st until April 9th, I did a very strict carnivore diet. The program lasted 18 weeks. And it was like, I had a motivator, which was a buddy of mine's wedding. And I told him I was going to get in the best shape of my life for his wedding. And even though we have that big goal that's, 18 weeks out, we've got to find the little things each day that motivate us to want to continue to go. So doing the carnivore diet was a challenge for me because it's something that I had played with a little bit but didn't take seriously. And man, I'll tell you what, like the change that I saw, I lost like 25 pounds in 18 weeks. And I mean, I was already in pretty decent shape when I started, but I didn't think I even had 25 pounds to lose. So when I would see the plateaus, it would kind of motivate me to go a little bit harder or do a little bit more. But mentally, emotionally, everything felt so good. My joint pain is pretty much gone. I've not had an ulcerative colitis flare up in quite some time. The brain fog, the things like that the carnivore diet brings out of you, for me, has been phenomenal, to the point where, like, I wanted to make sure I cut because he had some brick oven pizza for his wedding. So it's like, knowing what I'm going to do, I got to prepare myself. It's like a wrestling match. You got to train for it, you got to prepare for it, and you got to do the work. So I went in on that pizza, and then the next day we went to Disney. But Chris, Monday morning, I jumped right back on the carnivore diet because it just felt so good to do. So maybe finding something like that you can do every day, that you can track your progress. How many grams of protein am I taking in? What is 1 ounce of steak? And how much do I need to hit this goal? Maybe that is something that could help reset you without even, talking about the workouts yet. Just having the challenge of the different meal plan might be a great start.
Yeah. That's something I can definitely look into for sure. It's harder for me because of my living situation. I don't bring in the groceries. I don't cook the food usually, but I can work on that. I'll tell you it was great being consistent, and you talked about challenging yourself. So one thing that I did when I had done the DDPY early or mid last year, I was doing the chair workouts, just strictly sitting in the chair. And I watched a lecture. I joined what they call Transformation University, which is just a more focused aspect of DDPY. There's a big community of people who do it.
Nice.
They do lectures every every so often, or every week, a couple times a week. They do a lecture about different things. One thing that really struck me was, they talked about challenging yourself, and that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to get out of the chair. I may need the chair to balance, but they have workouts for that.
Right.
So I was doing the standing workouts with the chair, and I was really successful with those as far as keeping consistent, keeping myself in the groove. And like I said, just that one day I skipped it. I don't even remember why at this point. And it's been sporadic since. Like I did a workout yesterday. I'm hoping, I'm going to do my best to get one in after this, but it might be a little late in the day for me because I get tired. I go to bed early.
Sure.
9:00, I'm usually laying down reading a book, and then within 20 minutes I'm out. But it's and everybody's journey is different. Zach reminds me of that all the damn time. But it's just really hard to get off of the horse and then get back on. And that's where I've had a lot going on mentally. So I had a family member have heart surgery within the last week. I've been trying to mentally prepare myself for cataract surgery, which I ended up pushing back until the fall, just more because of getting time off of work for it. But when I found out that they put a big old needle right next to your eye to numb your eye, I'm like, yeah, I'm diabetic. I can handle needles. I can't handle things coming at my eyes. No. But
well, I mean, here's the thing, and you said it best. You don't even remember why you fell off. We put so much pressure on ourselves to try to get as close to what we consider our level of perfect. And guys, for anybody out there, both of you included, if you're ever doubting yourself and you're like, oh man, I just don't know, like I'm not comfortable. I don't feel like, you're not the only ones who do it, guys. I do it too. Like everybody always says, oh, but even when you think you're out of shape, you're still in so much better shape than the vast majority of people. Sure. But try convincing my mind of that. It's no secret. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars renovating this room in my house. This is my gym. There are still days where it's like, oh, I got one door. What's my excuse, right? So any day that you're sitting here thinking to yourself, oh man, well, just know you're not alone. There are days where I've got absolutely no excuse not to walk out here and do something. But, life does throw you curves. But on the same token, you select your pitch. Just because life threw you a curve doesn't mean you got to swing at it. Sometimes it's okay to go to the full count and wait. Wait for the right pitch, because tonight might not be right for you. Maybe it's as simple as doing some, trying to do some push-ups, or just heading down to the mailbox and back, walking a lap around the block, hitting some up and down the stairs, pick a number, hit your number, get a shower, call it a day. Again, a little bit of something is better than a lot of nothing. So that's what I've been trying to convince myself to do, is like, again, I've been experiencing some downtime. where I have not been able to train 100% due to some health things that I'm looking into. But I'm still able to do a little bit. And one of my favorite things is my sauna and my red light therapy. Even if I can't, go out and run 2 miles, walk 2 miles, or if I don't have the time because I got girls' activities, I got my wife needing me to do this, I got work issues. All right, 30 minutes, I'll go sit and sweat in the sauna. Find your thing that you can do just 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and eventually it'll become more than that. But you've got to pick your swing. And I know that that's not always the easiest thing to accept.
So I know, like, for me here recently, I actually went back to wearing my Apple Watch. I was using a different brand for a while, and I was like, I kind of want to go back to my Apple Watch. So I fired that thing back up. And what's actually kind of motivated me is they have the 3 rings. One's like your calorie ring, one's your how often you stand, and the other one's your exercise ring. So that's actually kind of helped keep me motivated. Oh, I got to get my rings closed. And now that the weather's nice too, when I've been getting off work, my son's been like, "Hey, can we go down, or can we take the dog for a walk?" And my son's in a wheelchair, so he likes getting out and going for a stroll. And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll go ahead and go down with you, and we'll walk around the park." And usually 1 or 2 times around from my house to our park, there's a nice little park that has a nice path that we walk. It's usually about 30 minutes. It's like that's enough to get the ring closed and get yourself a little bit of 30-minute exercise going in. And yeah, that's one thing I do like about weather finally getting nicer. It's like, okay, we can get outside again.
Yeah, and 30 minutes is ideal, right? Another thing that I love about the Apple Watch is you can add friends to your fitness component and you can challenge each other. So that right there creates another challenge and another level of accountability because somebody else is now tracking you as well. And if they're a really good friend, they're going to call you and be like, "Hey, why didn't you close all your rings?"
Yeah, like even last night, for example, so my normal workout days are Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I knew tonight after work I had to mow the yard, so I was like, I wasn't going to get up early in the morning this morning. So last night after I got off work, I was like, all right, well, since I'm not going to get up early in the morning, usually Tuesdays is kind of an off day or a light day. So I was like, I'll just hop on the treadmill last night and get my 30-minute walk in and close my rings by just doing a light little treadmill walk. And then tonight here before the show, I had to mow our yard, and mowing our yard's about an hour to do. So that's a nice little workout for me, especially this time of year. So
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm working on like a maintenance phase for myself right now. We've got 4 weeks left of school, and I have an idea of a program that I want to do over the summer. I have an idea of how I want to eat and train. It's right now, it's just I'm going to maintain where I'm at, but then I'm going to start that next big challenge June 3rd. So we've got a little mini vacation, little 3-day weekend planned for right as soon as school gets out. But then as soon as we get back from that, like I'm going to try, as long as, my body's where it needs to be, I'm going to try to do this insane workout program for the entire summer.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that school is almost already out. My wife and I were talking about that last night. We're like, he only has like 3 weeks left to school.
Yeah, it's 2026 is definitely speeding by. Sometimes it feels like it's in a good way. Sometimes it feels like it's in a bad way. But the one thing I'm learning to do, along with the physical fitness, is the mental health. I don't know if you guys pay attention to it, but I try to do a morning motivation quote every day. And I try to also do a video that goes with the quote. I'm not always as good with the videos, just depends on my schedule. And it's funny because a lot of people think that I'm trying to do this to go viral or to make money. But full transparency, I find these motivational quotes, or I find something that inspires me, And it's for me to remind me that I can be more positive. And the growth that I've seen in just within the last couple of years of doing it very consistently, I feel like I've gained an increased level of patience, uh, sympathy for other people and their situations. I've learned to really think before I react. Just trying to, I wouldn't say I've mastered physical fitness by any means, but on top of the physical, I'm also realizing how important it is for especially men our age. And I don't care what anybody says. You can come at me with all the tough guy bravado in the world, but being a good human puts you in a category and a level far beyond any tough guy I've ever met. And I think just to become a more well-rounded person, I've really wanted to focus on that for me.
That's completely understandable. And the mental aspect is so huge in everyone's journey. I mean, I've talked about it before. I think even on shows with you on them, I'm bipolar.
Yeah,
I go through ups and downs all the time, and the downs, I've got some medication that's helping quite a bit. But
good.
when I hit a low point, it lasts for, and that was part of what I was experiencing when I fell off. Maybe that wasn't the reason, but it definitely hit during or right after I fell off, somewhere in that time frame. And pulling back out of that mental down is one of the hardest things ever. Even for someone like me, medicated,
Right.
it's not easy to climb out of that hole.
And I think
But
another hard thing, again, especially for us middle-aged men, in the era that we all currently live in, you know, our parents, our dads, our uncles, or especially our grandfathers, they never expressed emotions in the way that this generation is learning that we need to.
yeah,
My grandfather would have never asked the neighbor for a dime to save his life. He would have rather have worked his fingers to the bone to try to get it himself. But it's not always about asking for a favor. Sometimes it's you just need to be heard. And you got to be able to get that off your chest. So building this community and trying to get more people involved in this community could be a great asset for all of us because yes, you live with bipolar disorder. I live with bouts of depression and anger management issues that I've had to battle. And the craziest thing is my biggest trigger for any of my depressions is body dysmorphia. You know, strangers or the casual fan of me will be like, oh, you're in great shape. I don't see it. Some days I do, don't get me wrong. There are days where I'll see myself in the mirror and be like, wow, I've done really well this week. But then there will be days where, you know, even if it's a prescribed cheat meal, like I've set up for this, right? I've built to this. I'll take a look in the mirror and be like, I still see a 300-pound offensive lineman that plays for William Penn. And it takes that long to trigger that depression. And it feels like everything I've worked for has been for nothing. So again, I'm not trying to compare the two. I do have empathy with your situation because I feel like even though they're two totally different diagnoses, they kind of go hand in hand because anytime you have a mental roadblock, it will deviate you from any of your physical goals. But the thing that I've found is I've found a couple of people that I can reach out to when I'm feeling a certain type of way. And one of them is my younger brother. And he will shoot me straight every time. When I know I need the tougher love, I call him. When I know that I just need somebody to listen and maybe just ask me clarifying questions until I can figure out what I'm really trying to find out, I have another person that I go to. So learning to build the community that's been able to lift me up, I think has been so successful, not only in creating the accountability that I need, the listening and the understanding that we all want and desire, but it also allows me to not fall off as hard. Because there are times where I just know I need a boot in my ass, and I call my brother and I'm like, bro, I feel like a slob. Like I haven't done this, or I overate that. You know, I had a couple ice cream sandwiches over the weekend, and he looks right at me and he goes, how many abs do you still have left? Like, do me a favor, go to the bathroom, count them, and you come back. And I'm like, maybe you got a point. And then I'll try to argue, and he won't let me. And sometimes that's what we need. And, you know, my DMs are always open for you. If you ever get to that point where you're like, hey, I'm ready to be vulnerable, I'll tell you in advance, both of you. I ask questions. I'm that person for everybody else where it's like, okay, why are you feeling this way? Okay, now, how can we, what can we, where can, and I've learned that allows me to allow you to navigate it on your own, just with a little bit of an assist.
Right.
And man, I feel like I've made more physical progress through my mental growth than I've ever had in the past.
I can definitely relate recently to not feeling as great as we know we look, so to speak. Like, I've kind of felt like lately I feel like I haven't seen the progress on so much on the scale, but I'm like I was telling CZ the one day, I'm like, but you know what? Like, I still like feel good, like belly wise. Like you know how you can feel, and it's like even the other day when I went down to help Austin last week and Wellman get the trailer loaded up. He looked at me, he's like, hey, you're looking really good, man. I was like, well, hey, thanks. Because I felt like I kind of needed that from somebody else who's not like, who doesn't see me like every day. Because people who see every day aren't going to naturally say, hey, you're looking pretty good. It's like, I haven't seen him for a long time. It's like, even afterwards, we all took a picture together and I was like, okay, I actually really do look a hell of a lot better than I anticipated. Like, especially I could see it like in the face. That's where I feel like I could really see it when I was there. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess I'm not too bad.
And you know, the thing that I've learned the most is we always compare where we are now to where we want to be. Rarely ever do we give ourselves credit and look at ourselves now compared to who we used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a fan of celebrating small victories. I'll be honest. Like, the competitor in me says, just because you get a win doesn't mean that you're a champion. It just means you got a win and you're one step closer to the championship. I'm not going to celebrate one win. But there are times where we need to look back and say, hey, look how far we've come. We still have a mountain to climb, but let's not ignore all of the work that led us to where we're at.
And earlier today, I saw on Twitter somebody had posted, "Hey, for all of us, 30-plus-year-olds, let's see your gym transformations." And one of my friends said, "I'm like, it's a good time to go ahead and do a photo for me from like last January till one of my last photos I got taken, and I actually kind of see the comparison there too." And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I still see it, definitely." So it's, again, just those kind of little reminders where it's like you can see the difference. And that's why I tell people, if you are going to start your fitness journey, you might not want to, but, take those progress photos. Start your first day in the gym, take a photo. Your next month, take a photo. And just take the photos, and eventually you will see that progress.
And again, I hate it too. I don't like setting the camera up. I don't like taking pictures of myself because I nitpick. But you're not wrong. I think everybody needs to take that embarrassing photo, because you're going to look at it 6 weeks later and you're going to be like, man, forget this one on the left because I'm really happy with this one on the right.
Mm-hmm.
We just live in a world of instant gratification where it's hard to accept that the things that we're working on take real time to get real results.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all can see it, but there's photos. Can't really see it the greatest from the phone, but yeah. So yeah, it's like seeing those things. Like,
you've done a great job. You should be proud.
Yeah. And again, it's like the thing that we'd like to. It's like we've been at shows where people are like, hey, you guys are doing a great job on the Wrestling with Fitness or whatever. And it's like that makes us feel good too, because it kind of gives, for me, it definitely gives me a reason to kind of keep going too. Because I'm like, I feel like I can't stop doing what we're doing because we do have this, and it's another avenue that people can also use as a motivation to say, okay, I know we need to do the podcast at the end of the month. I can't say, well, I haven't done anything all month. That's just not, at least for me, that's not how I'm mentally wired anymore. Like that's because I feel like I have to be doing something.
Absolutely.
I love a word you used a little bit ago, and that's community. I think everybody needs to have their community or their tribe of people that are there to lift them up, because the people you spend the most time with are the people is the person you become, essentially. Facts. And I have a great support system. I wish that some of my support system were not in Florida, like you, Storm. Yeah. It's a good 16-hour drive to get to the Panhandle, I believe, last time I looked. Yeah, and that's where they're stuck. But like I have a friend who has he has a body dysmorphia issue like you do, and he and I chat all the time about just boosting ourselves up and reminding each other that you have to give that self-love sometimes. You have to look past the negative and give yourself that boost, even if you don't want to. It's hard though.
It is. Again, especially, and I'm going to keep going back to this, but this generation of what I consider to be middle-aged men, we have an internal struggle of, it's okay to be body positive. It's okay to be celebrate the small wins. But there's also that struggle of, God, my dad would have never done that. My grandfather would roll over in his grave if I celebrated a small victory like that. Like, what do you mean you're having a conversation about your feelings? So there's always going to be that struggle. And until we really get over this hump, I just hope it doesn't go too far in the other direction, because I still do believe that certain things should always stay private.
Right.
When we as men find the real middle ground of understanding, it might be the next generation, but they're going to be so much better off, because we have definitely stepped far away from the toxic masculinity. We just need to make sure we find the middle ground before we stride ourselves right into femininity.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I know that that's a whole nother conversation for another day, but men still need to maintain a level of masculinity in the household, in life. And again, just for our own mental health, we have to stand up and be men.
And the other thing too that I love that I've had a part of my daily routine for quite some time, and I believe you have it too, CZ. There's an app out there called Motivation, and if you set it up, it sends you like great motivational quotes throughout the day.
Okay.
And you can even log on to it at any time, and it'll have something motivational. Like if I can find
I just pulled up mine right now. The first quote that mine came up with here, CZ, mine says, gratitude, the gentle reminder that life is enough. Like those are the kind of quotes it can spit out at you, and it's just cool. And like I said, it's always comes in at random times of the day, or you can sit there and you can kind of scroll through and find a bunch of different quotes. But that's just another kind of thing. It's like you can be sitting there and feeling a certain type of mood, get a quote that just hits you just right. It's like, oh, okay.
What's that app called again?
Motivation. It's just called Motivation. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
So yeah, it'll look just like the black one right there is what it'll look like when you look it up.
Yeah.
And it'll send you quotes throughout the day. It'll send you a reminder, hey, you haven't checked in today. Come take a look at what we've got for you.
Yeah, and it has a streak of how often you actually check the app too. So like if you catch it, if you check into the app so many days, it has a streak at the top every time you check in right away, which is kind of fun.
That's awesome.
So like here's a great one that I have on my notification center from a half hour ago. The only way to do great work is to love what you do, and that's a quote from Steve Jobs. Like it'll say things like that and who did the quote too. So because I know CZ does it because every once in a while we'll both be sending each other because you can actually share the direct quote with a friend which is great. So
I'm still waiting for the day that it pops up with the greatest Jake the Snake quote ever. My history will not be my destiny. It hasn't come up with that yet, but I've been keeping that in the forefront of my mind the last week or so.
There you go. I like that quote.
Not greatest Jake the Snake non-wrestling quote. How about that?
Right.
But that's something I've been trying to ingrain in myself. Like I said, you've got to give yourself enough credit to be able to do what you want to do. Everybody's capable of doing anything they put their mind to, but some people get stuck in their own head, and I'm prime example of that.
Yeah, definitely give yourself your flowers when you earn them. But also keeping a strong level of accountability is okay too. You know, I do some programming here and there for a few people, different workout programs or meal plan programs. But I always make sure to, when I send them the workout, let me know if you have any questions. And I always put on there, like, especially like for our recovery days, make it fun. Whatever active recovery activity you're going to do, make it fun. Be accountable, but go have fun with it. And I think that's one of my favorite things about some of the workouts that I've been doing lately is finding ways to make them fun. Makes it easier to come back and do it again tomorrow.
Without a doubt. I can see that.
It's just, nobody wants to go out and mow the lawn. You're not going to go do that every day.
Well, unless you're
That's a chore.
Zach
That's
likes
a chore, right? But what if you find a way to make your chore or your work fun? Once it becomes fun, it no longer becomes a chore, and then it becomes a desired activity. Now you're looking forward to what fun can I make with this workout? And I mean, for me, it's simply even just manipulating the reps or changing up one thing from the other. And there's just so many different examples I could give, but my best advice is try to make it fun.
I've recently started, in the last month and a half, started adding a core day to my workout routines. Like one day I'll do, I don't know, like back and chest. Another day we'll do legs. One day I'll do a core. And the core part's been fun for me because I added planking to my core workouts. So it's been fun to see the progress in planking. Like first I start out saying we're going to do 3 sets of 30 seconds and you bump it up to another 15 seconds, I'm now up to a minute. And when I did the minute for the first time a couple of weeks ago, I was like, oh my God. And it was like only 15 seconds longer than 45 seconds, but it's still just like, holy crap.
Yeah. And see the things like that are trackable, the small challenges within the workout, that right there makes it fun. You know, can I beat my time from the other week? If you can, you feel like $1 million. If you can't, you're like, okay, well, I still have this challenge. I haven't checked that box yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I've tried planking, but it's probably been 12 years.
Sure.
I can do it with like in a chair. I can do standing leaning planks. Generally I can do maybe 20 seconds. They do get incorporated into like the DDPY workouts.
Right.
Chair push-ups get incorporated. They have one position that I'm not confident in my ability to do. They call it Cobra. Hands on the chair, feet back, heels up, lean your waist in. And I do it. I do my best to do it, but man, that is tough.
Yeah.
Being my size, I feel like I'm going to collapse at any second. But
it's one of those things where you can continue to challenge yourself.
Exactly.
And work on. Now, again, how do we track it? How do we make it fun? I don't, maybe if you record it and you can kind of see your progress, that way you can acknowledge, hey, I didn't do this quite right, or hey, I did this really well this time. And then be able, again, you don't have to share it with anybody. We all hate taking the pictures, the videos, but sometimes it's good to just take a look at it, try to be as objective as possible, and provide your own constructive criticism, because you know you're not taking anything away from you. You're looking for your best self.
Right.
So I think that could be a lot of fun.
I can yeah, that definitely would be. And I haven't recorded any of my workouts. Maybe I start doing that a couple times a month. See where I'm at.
Just even if it's just you do it one time, see how it looks. You're either pleased with yourself or you're not pleased with yourself. But then when you do it again, you watch the new one, then go back and watch the old one and say, hey, I need to find 3 things that I did better this time than I did last time. And once you start checking those boxes, that's where that real dopamine hit comes in, and you feel better, you work harder, and it just becomes easier.
And CZ, the other thing I want to mention to you too, because this is where I would be if I were in your shoes, you're paying for the DDY app. I would feel like if I'm not using it at least a few times a week, I feel like I'd be sending money down the drain. Which for me, like when I joined my gym, that was kind of a motivation to join a gym. It's like if I'm paying for this monthly, I need to feel like I need to go to actually make it worth the money.
No, I understand that, and there are days I do feel like that, and it hasn't always been the kick in the ass that I need, but it's definitely in the back of my mind. You know, I paid for a year of this. It was so much money. You need to utilize the service.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Awkward silence.
I think we were all just waiting to not talk over each other.
Yes, correct.
But so I told you guys I've got a program in mind that I want to run. It's going to be at least 2 workouts per day, maybe sometimes 3. I'm actually really looking forward to summer. I should be having my nephews a few days a week watching them, and I want to help them start to work on just body weight exercises, but also just getting more active and getting more fit. My oldest nephew plays middle school basketball. My youngest is still in elementary, but you know, it's time to work on that coordination and build towards athleticism. So the days that they come over, they're not really ready for weight room yet, but everybody's ready for calisthenics. Everybody's ready for conditioning. My goal is going to be to get up early in the morning, hit a 2-mile fasted walk, and then a intentionally dedicated 30 minutes of stretching. Because I firmly believe that, we all need to be more flexible, prevent joint freeze, all of these things that as we age, we could look forward to. So we need to try to defy those odds as much as possible. Eat the right amount of foods. And then in the evenings, when my wife gets home, we will definitely lift each night like we try to do now. But then those days that I have my nephews, like when we're in the middle of the day, I'm starting to put together some ideas for conditioning drills, timed planks, maybe some wind sprints in the front yard, different calisthenic activities that we can all do together. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing about those 3-a-days just to really push myself at 40 to see what I'm capable of.
Mm-hmm.
But I was curious, what are you guys' goals as we are, coming into Q2 here? And what are we looking to do to push us into, Zach, the next level for you, but CZ, what are we going to look at to try to push towards consistency?
I mean, I have a goal in my head. If I can get at least 3 workouts in a week right now through the DDPY, do some more walking now that the weather is nice. I have a Y membership. I can walk down at the track if I want to, if the weather's not nice, but it's boring. Walk in the same circle.
Right.
I have a session with the trainer on Friday, so that'll help kick me in the ass a little bit.
Sure.
But really just getting back into a routine, even if it's just a few times a week, doing the DDPY, particularly. Weekends, I like being out of the house, so I'll usually spend it either I'll drive somewhere to a wrestling show, or I'll just be somewhere out of the house. But instead of, just getting out of the house to get out, maybe I go somewhere and walk. We've got a great river view downtown. So
there you go.
But I think those are the 2 top parts of my list, is getting back in that routine of just doing something.
Right. Creating that consistency.
Right.
Because I feel like once we all become more consistent, it no longer becomes that chore we talked about. It's just part of our day.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's where for me, I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the gym, and then like CZ says, like once here with the weather being nicer, I do like to be outside. So on my off days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and even the weekends, now that my kid enjoys it too, we'll go down, do our little half-hour walk, and that'll be kind of it for that. And so I feel like as long as I can stay consistently there, and I know I've showed you in the DMs too, but the thing I like about tracking my workout progress, ChatGPT will always tell you, okay, when you're comfortable doing this, go up to this. It'll tell you what your next weight level should be, and that's kind of what I've been going on as far as my gym routine is. Okay, I'm pretty comfortable at this weight. Let's see how I can do on the next weight up, and maybe do the same weight for 2 or 3 weeks, jump up to the next one, and kind of just keep going from there. It's kind of my plan here for summertime.
So another thing I wanted to run by you, Zach, setting like those challenges we talked about. One of the things that I want to do, especially because my mind's been on like the calisthenic stuff with my nephews. You guys remember it's been just over 2 years since I had my neck surgery. But I had all that atrophy on my left side here, and I've really been, doing everything I can to build the left side back up. One of the things that I was joking with my nephew about, but now we're kind of like really toying with the idea, is creating a number and doing that many push-ups every day. Whether it's 10, 50, 100. And you don't have to do it all in one run. Like him and I were joking. I was like, I think he said we were joking about something. He was like, I can do 25 push-ups right now. I said, I don't care. I said, can you do 1,000 push-ups? nobody can do 1,000 push-ups. And then I broke it down to him. I was like, no, think about it this way. If you do this many push-ups every hour that you're awake, you can do 1,000 in a day. And we played with some numbers. We broke it down. We made it fun, and we had a good conversation about it. But that's something we're thinking about doing between me and him, is just like, maybe it's not 1,000, but maybe we shoot for 200. And it's like, all right, well, I woke up this morning, I did 20 push-ups. Maybe in 30, 40 minutes, I'll do 20, 30 more. If I feel good, maybe I'll do another, after my walk, maybe I'll do another 30 or 40 push-ups, just see how it goes. And maybe that's something you could include into your, what's it going to take to put me to the next level? Yeah, I'm hitting the gym these 3 days. I'm going on these walks these other days. But what's something I can do every day, have it tracked and be fun, and still make gains?
Mm.
So that was just something I wanted to throw and share your way.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be something even, like planking. Do planking, something you can easily do.
Absolutely.
Every day.
Planks, sit-ups, push-ups, squats, almost any body weight activity is something that you could do. Core twists. You could just be standing at work and just be, pick your number and keep, write it down in your phone. Hey, I did this many plus this many and this many. I'm at this and I got this much more to go. It's something that kind of like macro tracking. Like I was saying about the carnivore diet, I track how many grams of protein I take in, and I have a certain goal that I want to hit every day. The more your mind is focused on it, the easier it is to be in it. It's when you try to push your mind off of it, it's hard to get back into that space.
Now, when you were mentioning protein, and I feel like everything nowadays, everybody's so heavy. I don't feel like I've ever seen so much talk about everybody being so into getting their protein in, which is great. Do you have a favorite, like protein drink or a protein company that you like to use? Personally, and I know I've mentioned it here before, I love the Quest brand. I think the Quest brand is great, and that's kind of my post-workout Quest brand. I know they have like different flavors. I know they have Oreo, Nutter Butter, they have Cinnabon, and I think Chips Ahoy is the other one I have. And I actually recently found a recipe for like a frozen, kind of like a frozen ice cream snack where you put Greek yogurt, you put your, you use like a little bit of chocolate pudding flavor or whatever, like the dust stuff or whatever it's called, and then you put in like 1 scoop of your protein powder, and you mix that up, throw it in the fridge or the freezer, and you have an actually decent, healthy little snack for you at the end of the day.
So, to be 100% honest with you, I haven't touched any supplements in so long. I wish I could go back in time and slap myself for all the money I've wasted at GNCs and Vitamin Worlds. Whole food has been so much better for me. And again, I can only speak for me, but I would rather eat a dozen eggs than go mix a protein shake ever again.
Yeah.
There was always something. Like a protein shake never satisfied me.
Yeah.
It just checked an imaginary box. Again, yes, you need protein for muscle recovery, for muscle building. And again, your body really only needs protein and fats to survive. When you find the right combination, your body starts to lose weight. Your body starts to adapt to those things. Your body does not need carbohydrates. Haven't really had a solid amount of carbohydrates other than a couple of cheat meals in 2026. I still have abs when I sit down. My body is in great conditioning, and all I eat is protein and fat. Chicken, fish, beef, eggs, the list, seafood. If it was an animal at one point, I'm gonna eat it.
And you're lucky because you're down in Florida, so your seafood is fucking fantastic.
Absolutely. But I could say the same thing. Hey, you guys' beef and pork is 10 times better than what I have down here.
Yeah, fair
Don't get me
point.
wrong.
Fair point.
We have a lot of cattle ranches here in Florida, which I didn't really learn about until about 5 years ago. We have some decent cattle ranches, but nothing compares to like a real Iowa chop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't eat pork down here because it's not the same. Just like I would never recommend you guys buying a lobster in Iowa.
There's a lot to be said, and this is not a change that I'm at a point where I think I could make, but there's a lot to be said about real foods.
Yes.
So much of the shit we put in our bodies is super processed. It doesn't do anyone any favors. But at the same time, it's not easy to break away from them, at least for someone like me.
You're not wrong. Because you've created a habit. You've created a level of comfortability. It is very easy to grab that TV dinner or that meal replacement or to go down the road and grab the Casey's sandwich or whatever you're accustomed to having. But realizing what you put in is what you get out. And it is hard. I will, even though I am 100% pro whole food, I am. I will, if I never have another protein shake in my life, I'll be okay. If I never eat another, fast food, I'll be okay. I understand, though, the problem is time. And time for everybody is valuable. Not a lot of people, have the time to stand in the kitchen and cook the food or want to do it. There's always something better we can do with our time. But I consistently remind myself, I'm investing in my wellness so I don't have to pay for my illness. So, like, I get up, I don't have to be to work until 7:30 every day. But I get up every day at 5:45. I hop in a cold shower and then I go straight to the kitchen. Make my wife her breakfast, and then I make whatever I want for breakfast. Usually it's some ground turkey and scrambled eggs because it's quick.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I feel fancy. And I'll sit there and I'll make poached eggs, or I'll have sunny side up eggs, and I like to get those little Jimmy Dean, even though they're processed.
Yep.
Turkey sausage patties.
Yep.
I can pop those in the microwave for a minute. They're still a solid source of whole food of protein.
Yep.
But then I get my dippy eggs and I go to town with it. And there's just something, and I can't explain it to you, Chris. I would love to. I would love to tell you that here's the magic key. There's just something internally that feels better when you've had that whole food, real food in your belly than any other processed treat or snack or meal replacement. And there's a level of gratification that I get enjoying that I made that. And I know it tastes good.
Yeah, usually at least once a week I make I'll usually always have my breakfast burritos that are pretty high in protein that I have stored in the freezer. And then usually about once a week, I'll do like a big mix. I'll do like 6 eggs with like 3 or 4 egg whites in them. And then I'll do usually a pound of ground turkey along with turkey bacon and like some hash browns. And I just mix it all up, kind of like a big old like skillet that you get at like Denny's or something.
Yeah.
But again, since it's all like the turkey bacon and turkey and it's all the extra eggs and like you said, get done making it's just like Yeah, that hit spot. And the best part is, even my kid loves it too. He'll come out. He's like, "Are you making your mix?" Yes, I am.
That's great.
So yeah, I'm definitely the egg eater in our family. My wife has never been an egg person ever since I've known her, but I could eat eggs every day of the week.
We do here, and it's to a point like we go through 15 dozen eggs we buy in bulk at Sam's every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
15 dozen eggs every 2 weeks. Like tonight, I looked at everybody, I was like, "Hey, what do you guys want for dinner?" And my wife goes, "Well, we've got that chicken breast. What do you want?" And I was like, "Honestly, I want breakfast. I could eat breakfast for every meal and have no issues. I don't know what it is, but again, doing the carnivore thing, eggs are great, and respectfully, they go with almost every single other meat. So you're not confined to just eating the same meat for a pound and a half of meat. Like I can have steak and eggs. I've done chicken and eggs. I've done salmon and eggs, and all of it works. Eggs are probably the most overlooked of the proteins.
I love egg. I'm a scrambled eggs guy all day. The only thing I don't like, and Zach, this is kudos to you for being able to do this. You freeze the eggs, you put them in the I can't eat reheated eggs. There's something about them that just doesn't sit right with me.
That's fair. I'm the same. I prefer just fresh cooked eggs. Like I don't think I could be able to cook them, freeze them, and then reheat them. I would rather lose sleep and get up earlier to make them like I do. But again, to each their own, and kudos to whatever works, because at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for, is what works for each of us as individuals.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, Z, we're just about at almost at the hour mark here. This hour flew by fast, man.
Yeah, it did. I was just thinking the same thing, Zach.
That's why I love talking to you guys, because again, I don't have a sheet of paper of questions, and I don't believe either one of you do either, but we're so good with our chemistry that an hour flies by, the conversation flows. Did we jump around to a bunch of different topics? Absolutely. But that's what makes for a great conversation amongst friends. And it's so easy to just lose an hour of time with you guys.
Yep. Yeah, well, and that's why one of the reasons we like having you back like once a quarter, as we've been doing too, because we know it's like, hey, we know we're gonna have a great conversation with him, and I know we're gonna have our old pal Nikki Free coming on here later this summer. He's actually getting ready to make a return to the ring here for Hall of Fame weekend, so we're gonna talk fitness as well as his return to the ring as well. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. But you and like Nikki Free have probably been our most reoccurring guests that we've had on the show. I'd say, Chris, wouldn't you?
Yes, 100%.
And I fully expect that you guys will drop me a message in our group chat either tonight or in the next couple of days and say, "Hey, when are we doing this again?"
Hell yeah!
And I definitely want to catch up at least by the end of summer.
Yeah,
to let you guys know what I've done to challenge myself, and then to catch up with where you guys are.
For sure. Yeah, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that works for me. I mean, that put us kind of right before school and kind of get us, kind of right into the start of the third, fourth quarter there. So, yeah.
Yeah. Zach, anything coming up for you over on the shotgun side of things?
Not really. I believe I'm supposed to have Jamison McGregor on the show next week. So look for that next Friday, I believe. And then, we have a Central Empire Wrestling show this coming Saturday in Delta, all cage matches. So that'll be fun. Every match inside a steel cage. So that'll be a lot of fun, and be nice to be in the old Delta Dome in Delta, Iowa again. So that's.
I really hope he's calling the show "Rage in a Cage."
That's what it should be.
I think on the ticket thing he said Central Empire Wrestling presents Caged and Enraged, something like that. So you're pretty close.
I don't mind that at all. That sounds good too.
And I don't think I'm going to be there this weekend, Zach. So your challenge to take me on inside a steel cage, I'm going to have to decline respectfully. Maybe the next time there's a cage that goes up.
They're so overrated. I did like 3 cage matches my whole career.
I'm not looking forward to loading the cage in, I'll tell you that.
No.
I understand why he wants to do all the show in all steel cage though.
Because you don't want to take it down and put it back up every time.
Right.
Exactly.
I remember
set it up, go.
Yeah.
I remember the only live cage match that I've seen on an indie show was at Absolute Pro Wrestling, and it took about a half hour to put the cage up before the main event.
Yeah.
So I completely understand that.
Yeah.
Over on my side of things, Nick and I are off on Sunday because our guest had a scheduling conflict. He'll be in the air, but we've got a big guest coming on next Wednesday as we sit down with Mosh, one half of the Headbangers. Super excited to have him. But we had him on our show a year ago for a brief 15, 20-minute interview when he was at a local event, and now we get to talk about his book. So I'm super excited for that.
Very cool. That's awesome.
But tune into Shotgun Wrestling Radio. Tune into Card Subject to Change. That's where you can find Zach and I